Welcome to the Explainer. So let's just jump right in with a huge question, one that philosophers have been wrestling with forever. Where does faith actually come from? Is it something you earn, or is it a gift?
To get some answers, we're going to dive into this really beautiful and honestly pretty mind-bending text on the nature of faith. It's called Sri Madhurya Kadambini, and we're going to use it to try and solve this exact philosophical mystery.
Okay, so the whole text really centers on this one powerful concept called Bhakti, and it all kicks off by asking what seems like a really simple question about it.
So first things first, let's get on the same page about what we're talking about here. Bhakti. It's not just some passive belief, you know? The source describes it as this inherent, self-manifesting spiritual energy. It's this dynamic, totally independent force that can literally transform a person and bring, complete satisfaction to the self.
And that's it. That's the central mystery we're going to try and crack today. We're basically going to follow the text's own line of reasoning, kind of like some philosophical detective work.
All right, so our investigation starts by ruling out the usual suspects, right? The most obvious answers. The idea that we can somehow earn devotion, either through our good deeds or through our smarts.
Yeah, the text draws this really sharp contrast here. You look at other spiritual paths like karma, pious works, and you see they depend on all these external factors, like being in the right place at the right time. Or jnana, the path of knowledge, that depends on having a pure heart and doing all this dedicated study. But bhakti, it's in a category all its own. The text argues it is completely 100% independent.
And this idea of independence goes really deep. We're talking it doesn't rely on your good works, your knowledge, or any kind of external purity. In fact, and this is where it gets wild, it completely flips the script. It says the success of all those other paths actually depends on bhakti. It's the life force that makes them fruitful in the first place.
And to really hammer this point home, the text uses this super stark, unforgettable analogy. It says that without that life-giving force of devotion, all the other spiritual stuff, good birth, knowledge, austerity, it's all just like decorating a dead body. Wow. I mean, it might look impressive on the outside, but it's missing that essential spark of life.
Okay, so if we can't earn it through what we do or what we know, then where in the world does it come from? Maybe it's just a gift, some kind of divine mercy.
And that seems like a pretty good answer, right? The origin is just the causeless mercy of God. Simple. But nope, the text does not let us off the hook that easily. It immediately points out a huge logical problem with this idea.
And here's the snag. If this mercy is truly causeless, and by that we mean it has nothing to do with anything we've done, then logically, shouldn't it be given to everyone, everywhere, equally? But that's just not what we see. So if it's only given to some people and not others, well, that implies a flaw, doesn't it?
A flaw of partiality, to be exact. And this is the contradiction, the paradox we're stuck in. Look, if mercy is causeless, then giving it out unequally suggests God is playing favorites. But if mercy is caused by something we do, well then it's not causeless mercy anymore, is it? So just calling it causeless mercy doesn't actually solve our mystery, it just makes it deeper. We're in a total logical bind here.
So we've ruled out our actions, we've ruled out our intellect, we've even run into a paradox with the idea of direct divine mercy. So where do we go from here? Well, this is where this source presents its really profound conclusion, the solution to our whole mystery.
And the answer, according to this text, is as simple as it is profound. Get this. Bhakti is caused by bhakti. Devotion comes from devotion. It's not generated by our works or our knowledge or even directly from God's mercy. It generates itself. It is its own cause.
So you're probably asking, how does that even work? Well, here's the breakdown. It starts with a devotee, right? Someone who already has this bhakti in their heart. That devotion, that love, makes them feel mercy for other people. And through that mercy, a little seed of bhakti gets planted, transmitted to another person. And check this out, only then does the Lord's mercy follow along because, as the text says, the Lord is subservient to the love of his devotees. So the key takeaway here is that devotion is passed from one heart to another. It's like one flame lighting another candle. Beautiful, right?
And this totally reframes how we think about a key concept. You know how scriptures often talk about good fortune being the cause of faith? Well, this text just redefines that completely. It's not about material wealth or being born into the right family.
Real, true good fortune, that's the incredible, super rare luck of just happening to receive this causeless mercy from another devotee. And once you understand this unique origin story, this internal, self-generating cause, it starts to make sense why the text describes bhakti as having this absolutely supreme transformative power.
This gives it a really unique power. Think about it. A lot of other paths require you to purify yourself before you can make real progress. But bhakti, it's different. It enters your heart first, and then it does all the cleanup work from the inside out. It purifies you by literally destroying what are called the 5 kleshas, which are the root causes of all material suffering.
And what are they? Well, you've got ignorance, false ego, attachment, hatred, and that really deep-seated fear of death. According to this text, all 5 of these root causes of our suffering just get systematically uprooted once devotion takes hold in the heart. And that's why this state is considered so incredibly precious. I mean, look at this. The text emphasizes that a true devotee is extremely rare. We're talking rarer than the millions of souls who might have achieved total liberation, or even those perfected yogis who've mastered all kinds of mystical powers. It's off the charts rare.
And this final quote, man, it just puts everything into perspective. The Lord easily gives liberation, but not bhakti. I mean, wow, that is a stunning statement. It tells you everything you need to know about bhakti's place as the absolute highest, most precious prize, something the divine holds even closer and grants even more carefully than freedom itself.
And so at the end of all this, we're left with this really provocative thought to chew on. If the highest spiritual goal isn't something you can achieve or earn or study for, but it's a gift passed from one heart to another, what does that actually mean for how we understand spiritual life? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining this explainer.